My phone vibrated once. Just once. That was all it took to erase 30 years. The message sat there on my screen like a cold verdict. You're cut off. Don't contact us again. We're moving forward without you. My mother's name was at the top of the screen. No explanation. No argument. Just a door slammed shut. I stared at the message for a long time. Long enough for the anger to pass. Long enough for the hurt to settle into something quieter. Something sharper. I typed one word. Okay. And then I began moving forward. First, it wasn't always like this. My parents used to say I was the reliable one. The responsible son. The one who handled things. When everyone else avoided them. When Dad's small construction company nearly collapsed 15 years ago, I stepped in. Not because they asked. Because they needed someone who understood numbers better than pride. I restructured their debt. Negotiated new contracts. Built the accounting system from scratch. Slowly, quietly, the company recovered. But ownership stayed in their names. They said it was temporary. I believed them. Families run on trust, not paperwork. At least that's what I thought back then. For years I managed everything. Payroll, taxes, vendor accounts, legal filings, even the mortgage on the house they lived in. Technically, the house was under the company. Technically, the company accounts ran through systems I controlled. Technically, I had access to everything. Not power. Just responsibility. That's what I told myself. The change started slowly. Phone calls got shorter. Conversations became transactional. Then my younger brother came back into the picture. Ethan. The charming one. The creative one. The one who disappeared for 5 years and suddenly returned full of business ideas and confidence that didn't belong to him. At first I welcomed him. I should have known better. Soon he was attending meetings that used to be mine. Then my parents began making decisions without telling me. One evening I walked into the office and saw Ethan sitting behind Dad's desk like he had been born there. He smiled too easily. We're modernizing things, he said. I nodded. But I started paying attention. The first real crack appeared in an email chain I wasn't meant to see. A lawyer's draft. It mentioned a restructuring. Ownership transfer. My name was missing. Not reduced. Not adjusted. Removed. I didn't confront them. Not yet. Instead, I opened files. Old agreements. Corporate registrations. Banking authorizations. Digital access logs. Years of quiet responsibility had left fingerprints everywhere. And suddenly I realized something important. They thought the company belonged to them, but the infrastructure belonged to me. The message from my mother came 3 weeks later. You're cut off. Simple. Clean. They thought they had already replaced me. Ethan must have convinced them the system would run fine without me. That was the moment I stopped feeling hurt and started feeling curious. So I said, okay. My first move took 12 minutes. I logged into the corporate banking portal. The master credentials were still under my administrative profile. I didn't touch their money. That would have been illegal. Instead, I revoked third-party access permissions, including Ethan's, including theirs. Technically, the system required re-verification once admin privileges were removed. The re-verification code was sent to the administrator. Me. The second move took longer. The house. Legally, it wasn't their personal property. It belonged to the company as a tax-optimized asset, which meant the purchase agreement required authorization from the operations manager, also me. I didn't cancel the house. I canceled the pending refinancing deal they were using to pull cash out of the company. The bank doesn't like missing documentation, especially signatures, especially when deadlines pass. The third move was quieter. I resigned, not emotionally, legally. My resignation triggered a clause in the corporate bylaws I had written years earlier. Any leadership transition required a full financial audit before new management could access operational systems. Audit freezes accounts. Audit freezes property transactions. Audit freezes payroll. It's a boring clause. Until it activates. 2 days later, my phone started ringing. At first, I ignored it. Then the numbers climbed. 12 missed calls. 26. 40. By evening, there were 58. Mom, Dad, Ethan. Unknown numbers. I imagined the moment they realized nothing worked anymore. Payroll locked. Contracts inaccessible. Bank accounts pending verification. The house deal collapsing at the bank. I didn't answer. The next message didn't come from family. It came from a lawyer. We have a serious problem. Please contact us immediately. I stared at the text. The funny thing about power is that people only notice it when it disappears. For 15 years, I had been invisible. The quiet system keeping everything running. Now they were staring at the silence I left behind. I typed slowly. One sentence. Enjoy moving forward. Later that night, Ethan finally sent his own message. 3 words. What did you do? I almost laughed, because I hadn't done anything dramatic. No shouting. No lawsuits. No revenge speech. I simply stepped aside and took my systems with me. A week later, the audit was still ongoing. Banks don't rush investigations. Lawyers charge by the hour. Contracts expire without signatures. Suddenly, the family business needed the one person they had already discarded. By then, I had already signed a consulting agreement with one of their former competitors. Turns out experience has value. Even outside the family, people think revenge is loud, explosive, but the best kind is quiet, precise, the kind where you simply let people live with the consequences of their own decisions. They told me they were moving forward without me, so I let them try. And judging by those 58 missed calls, they discovered something important. Moving forward is harder when the person who built the road is no longer there.